Okay, so we're in Yellowstone National Park this morning. We got into camp last night. On the way in, it was like a mix of rain and snow, so the temperatures pretty much cooled off pretty good. It was, I think, in the 50s and then dropped last night into below freezing. This morning it was low 30s. Right now it's 38 degrees. We spent the night getting camp set up because we're here for a couple of days, and we had a good meal. Will we have steak again? Yeah, we had steak. Steak's always good. Um, and then we kind of went to bed early, or at least got into the inside of the camper early. It was probably before 8 o'clock. I want to say probably like quarter to 8, 9. So we did that, and we just kind of relaxed. Got up this morning. It was super cold. And made breakfast, and then we hit the road to get to Yellowstone here now. So we actually have kind of a plan today. After talking to some of the people at the camp, they gave us some ideas of what we should see, and then also I used Chat GPT and kind of like just made a loop because dogs aren't really allowed any place off pavement basically. I have the list of rules here. I'm going to actually read through and make sure I know everything that's going on, just so that I don't break the rules with them. And yeah, but yeah, I got a nice little loop. We're hopefully going to see um, some cool stuff. I'll get some videos of it, and we'll take you guys along on the way. I'll probably try to check in a little bit later. Bye. Okay, we made our way around Yellowstone. We saw Old Faithfull erupt. That was pretty cool. Me and my little buddy back there, we wrestled quite a bit because he was pretty anxious because we had to wait around about an hour. But we did get to see it. I got some film of that. We're continuing our little loop for the day. It is cold. We just made a stop here, and I believe this is West Basin, and I let him stay in the car because he was just didn't want to get out because I think he let out all of his energy when we were at Old Faithful, and I just took a little walk around, and there's some boardwalks here that he couldn't go on anyway. So, and it's like in the 30s, so I just cracked the windows down about 4 inches on each side for him, so we had plenty of air. And I was gone for maybe 10 minutes at the most. Walked like a quarter of a mile or something out and back. Took some pictures of that and some video, and I'll show that obviously. But yeah, things are going great today. Other than it being cold, this is pretty nice. There is snow on the ground. The elevations, we're at times up over 8,000 feet. I think we drove past the Continental Divide, pull off area. I'm going to go back to that. And then I think we have maybe 2 stops before we leave the park for the day. And then we'll head back to camp for the night and plan out Thursday. And then obviously Friday morning we are hitting the road again. So yeah, good times. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it so far. It is beautiful. Um, I'm trying not to compare it to other parks I've been to because I think each one has beauty in its own way. Um, but I think I really liked Yosemite and I really liked Zion, and Yellowstone has been interesting. Um, I don't I don't like to rank things, so I won't. But I think it's probably a third right now. Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad I have another day because it is a big park and there's a lot to see. So yeah, okay, I'll catch up here in a little bit. Okay, I'm back at camp. Did Yellowstone, first day of Yellowstone. It was pretty cool. Got to see Old Faithful. It was pretty much what you expected. There are hundreds of people standing around watching water blow into the sky. It was really neat, and there's a lot of steam coming out of it, uh, obviously because the heat from the earth. But yeah, that was cool. You guys saw the video earlier, me kind of talking about it. So then we left there, went to West Basin, checked out the little hot springs there, and then also Yellowstone Lake is there. So I got a pretty good view of that. And then from there, we started working our way back to camp. We stopped at the Continental Divide, took pictures. I think it's like 8,200 feet. There's like a little lake there too. So I don't know if you, it's more like a pond, but they call it a lake. But it was neat. And then from there, we worked our way back, saw some buffalo, took pictures of them, had some fun. And then and then I thought I was just going to check out this Madison, this lunch spot. But right before that, there's like a turnoff where it's like I want to say Fire Canyon. That's probably wrong, but it's a road basically that loops back onto the bigger loop. But you get to go right by this, right by the water and right by it's like a raging rapids go through there and stuff. But there's also like a waterfall. I got video of all that. You guys will see it. And then yeah, then I made my way back here. And then the plan for tomorrow is to go get up like I did today, no rush, get breakfast, head on out, and then do enter in through the west gate and head north. I'm not making any like stop plans except for I'm going to make it out to the Roosevelt Arch, and then make my way back to the camp. I'm doing that because I seem to enjoy today the stops that were just like not planned. I think I had more fun at the non-planned stops, so I'm gonna kind of do that again tomorrow and just have some fun. I hope I get to see an elk. That's the only animal I really kind of want to see. If I see a bear, great. Um, if not, not a big deal. I did see bison today. That was cool. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Tonight's plan is just to probably barbecue. Might have a fire, might not. So yeah, and then Friday I was looking at before I jumped on here. I was looking at the plan for Friday. Got to get up early. I want to be pulling out of camp at 5 a.m. because it's about an 8-hour drive to the campsite in near Deadwood, South Dakota. And, and then once I get there, I want to drop the camper and then head to Mount Rushmore that same day. Check that out. And then that's about an hour to get there, and then an hour back to camp. So it's going to be a really long day. A lot of driving, but I think it'll be worth it. And then the next day, I got to get up early and hit the road, and then make my way. I'm staying just south of Madison, Wisconsin. And then from Madison, Wisconsin, Sunday morning, I pull out of there and I head home. So that'll be the end of the trip. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.